This content creator is rather well known in the Escape from Tarkov community. Even though right now he's streaming dark and darker, he still somehow is managing to retain an audience of approximately 3,500 people, which is amazing as content creators go. Until you realize that 95% of those viewers are completely fake, and Twitch doesn't care. I don't typically do videos like this, but there is an issue that I think needs to be discussed when it comes to Twitch. See, for those of you that don't know, I've been a content creator now full-time, mind you, for the last 5.5 years. This is my livelihood. I make YouTube videos like that little plaque likes to tout for me. You know, I love my prizes, don't get me wrong, but I've also been somebody that has streamed on Twitch for a number of hours. At one point in time, I had been live for 257 days straight. So I know a thing or two about streaming. And as time has gone on, I've gotten to learn a thing or two about what it takes in order to be able to grow and retain somewhat of an audience. Not that I'm amazing by any means, but hey, I'm like a 350 viewer Andy. I'll take that nut. Why not? At the same time, though, there are people that, rather than putting in the time and the grind and all that stuff, they insist on going and chasing the bag. And no, I'm not talking about hot tub streamers or people that are doing squats for subs or any of those other types of things. What I mean to talk about are views that I believe are going to act as a systemic form of cancer for the Twitch platform on a whole. There are two of them. The first is embedded views. The second is AFK bot farming. I guess I should clarify the AFK bot farming statement just a little bit. By bots, I don't necessarily mean like view bots. What I mean to say is, at least legally speaking, with the Twitch terms of service, they're people that are technically following the rules, but they are abusing a program that exists for streamers that allows them to farm views, but they're not really views. But first, let's circle back to the embedded view idea. See, Twitch allows a uniquity in this case. They do what other platforms don't. Well, YouTube kind of does. But in this case, they do what other platforms don't in that they count embedded views as live views. What do I mean? Well, let's take a look at the website Fextralife. See, Fextralife runs a Wikipedia pages. One of them is for New World. And if you go to Fextralife and start looking up information about the game New World, like just whatever, a new weapon that you're trying to get or drop chance of a certain item that you're trying to find, at the bottom of the page, no matter where you go, you will see a small window of Fextralife's stream. Now, Fextralife has been doing this for years. And the thing is that Twitch has this set up in a way where the website auto plays the stream, even though it's muted, it's on silent, you're not hearing the stream right away. But that stream playing in the background counts you being on the Wikipedia looking something up as a viewer of Fextralife's. So when New World puts out a new patch or has a new seasonal change or offers up a new expansion, Fextralife's viewership goes into the stratosphere. But none of those people are actually watching Fextralife play a video game. They're just there because they're looking up things on a Wikipedia. Now, unfortunately, this has permeated a whole lot of different cultures when it comes to these wiki pages. Anything and everything Fextralife touches, all of the games that Fextralife is involved in. The Escape from Tarkov website, eft-ammo.com, which is the place that No Food After Midnight has started sending everyone to, has an embed of his stream. At one point in time, it had an embed of Endra's stream going at the same time. When the wipe occurs, you see people like him have viewers in the thousands. But if you go to a stream like Fextralife's, for instance, right now, and went and watched his chat, even though he has the multitude, tens of thousands of viewers that he has at any one given point in time, there's no one really interacting in his chat because all of those viewers are being farmed from the wiki. EFTammo.com. EFT-ammo.com. Scroll down to the bottom. The creator of this. Oh, he's live right now. Well, that's interesting. Oh, how many viewers does he have? 3,057. That's interesting. I wonder how many people he's got in his community right now. Oh. Now, of course, at this point, people watching this are like, okay, so what? Why does that even matter? Well, it matters for a couple of different reasons. The first is that embedded viewers aren't real viewers. So when you look at things like rankings on that of Twitch and you see someone like Fextralife at the head of the category, no matter what time of day it is, you automatically start scratching your head. Well, that's interesting. See, what it does is it suppresses all of the other streamers that don't have these types of outlets down further in rank. So they're not being noticed as much. Someone like Fextralife absorbs all of that potential viewership for anyone else in the category that is hoping to one day be at the head. But they'll never be, because Fextralife runs that wiki. Here's where it starts becoming systemic cancer for Twitch. The more that this catches on, the more likely people are to not only try to embed their own videos in potentially popular websites, they're also willing to start paying for advertising space to do exactly that. Secondarily, they are also skewing the numbers when it comes to advertisers on Twitch systemically. See, Twitch has a group of people that work on marketing Twitch to companies to try to get them to spend money on ads for the platform. When they look at viewership statistics on a monthly basis, that's how Twitch works with potential advertisers to determine the rate that they're going to pay for those ads. So when you have a streamer like Fextralife and others that are propping these numbers up artificially, it makes it look like Twitch is more attractive than they actually are. So then when an advertiser spends money through Twitch or to Twitch to have those ads play on the platform, the vast majority of people in these embedded streams cases are not watching those ads. So a large percentage of people on a monthly basis, maybe not large, but a percentage of the viewership on a monthly basis is never actually seeing an ad when they were supposed to. As this becomes more widespread of a practice for the people on the receiving end that are just trying to get the bag, advertisers will start getting smarter. It is one thing for a corporate level advertiser to make the bad decision on spending money in a certain place. It is a different animal entirely for that corporation to feel as though they've been duped. And this is one of those things that would dupe an advertiser into believing that the platform doesn't actually work. And this is why advertisers have a tendency to have cold feet when it comes to advertising on places like Twitch. They're a little bit behind when it comes to tech and the internet and how advertising works. It's a young man's game when it comes to understanding the ins and outs of ad spend on platforms like these. But they're not dumb, and they catch on. They will, and they're going to start taking their money elsewhere. And that's when Twitch starts dialing in on how much money they will be willing to pay for advertising for us, streamers. Ultimately, this will harm streamers platform-wide as a whole because Twitch will not be able to adequately sell as much or as lucrative of ad space as they once had been able to do, which means that we and our cut of that ad revenue playing on our streams becomes smaller. We earn less because others are greedy. That's the end all, be all of it. Twitch needs to modify its policies and remove the ability for people to embed streams on third-party websites. It only hurts us. Yes, a select few that have a presence elsewhere in the internet will end up making a bunch of money off of the backs of this, but it is a scam. I'm no lawyer, but to me, this whole thing reads like fraud on the part of Twitch. I would not be surprised if an advertiser were to come back to Twitch at some point in the future and declare a lawsuit because they were under the impression that they were going to get X amount of impressions only to find out that those impressions were falsified. And that's Twitch on a systemic level. Not to mention the advertisers that could potentially get involved directly with a streamer that averages 30,000 viewers only to find out that those viewers aren't real after they spent millions of dollars in advertising on one of those streams to advertise a product to no one. I have a challenge that I'd like to issue for Twitch. Turn off embedded streams for a single day. Just one day. I beg you to do it. I double dog dare you. Let's go back to the 90s. I double dog dare Twitch to turn off embedded streams for a single day, just so that you can see the impact of what a stream will have happened to it if they have been relying heavily on embeds. A heavily embedded stream like that of Fextralife would be completely cut off at the knees. Any stream that is doing this would be. Any of them. And justifiably so. I want to say this. justifiably so. Like, great for them that they're going after it and they're getting their bag. Don't get me wrong. They're taking advantage of the rules of the system and the terms of service allows for it. But Twitch is allowing something to happen that will very heavily harm them in the future. Very much. Mark my words. This isn't even about fairness. This is about doing harm onto everyone else on the platform because Twitch is allowing this to occur. Ultimately, I think the blame lies with them anyway. Hey, what's up, everybody? Editor Onepeg here. I had decided I needed to trim my beard. Sorry about the wardrobe change and all, but this is something that I've been working on for a few days now. So Fextralife, who is the head of Fextralife, actually decided that she was going to make a response to a lot of these allegations in a post that was made on her forums on August 25th. So Fextralife is the head of Fextralife, and they have a team of people that work on all of this stuff. Anyway, this began because of a Reddit post made in the subreddit BG3 Builds, where the BG3 Builds subreddit, a user had accused Fextralife of downvoting any post that was made in negative light about that of Fextralife. Going so far as where BG3 Builds actually banned Fextralife from being able to participate on that subreddit. Now, Fextralife responded to this by saying that there was no evidence for any of this, that it was ridiculous, it was unfounded, and it could be done by anyone. They went on to talk then about Fextralife being a viewbot or was viewbotting channels. And if it were me, I think that that's basically the same thing. There's no major difference. The difference being that with viewbots, there's no chance of you ever garnering an actual like bona fide viewer. Whereas with embeds, like what Fextralife does, there is a modicum of a chance. I would say like 1/10, probably less than that, 1/100% of people that are actually watching that or noticing that the stream is playing in the corner of Fextralife's webpage and could actually end up maybe joining the stream. In fact, even on the forums right here, you can see that there is an embedded Twitch stream right here on the forum where they are marketing or at least talking about responding to the allegations of them viewbotting their own content. If I was recording this right now and Fextralife was live, that stream would be auto-playing on this page, remarking me as one of Fextralife's many viewers. Now, in this case, though, I'm not actually watching Fextralife, and that's the entire issue. The main difference here is that viewbots are actually in my stream. If I went out and actually bought or obtained somehow some retail viewbots, like pure viewbots, those viewbots would generate me ad revenue because they're considered in-house viewers on Twitch. In the case of embeds, though, those are not considered viewers that ad revenue can be derived from. Now, there is the belief that embedded viewers generate ad revenue for the streamer based on those viewership statistics. However, Fextralife refutes this and says that that's not true. I have not been able to find proof that ad revenue actually pays from this. So I'm working on it, trying to compare statistics, but it's unlikely that these viewbotted streams or these embedded streams would share that ad revenue information with me or anyone else for that matter, because who wants to let that cat out of the bag? No one. Of course, this is on top of the viewer suppression involved in all of this. See, for example, I went to the Dark and Darker category, a category for a game that I love, wanting to see who's streaming what, who's relatively popular, who's making waves. Unfortunately, the two largest streamers were Sodapoppin, who is extremely popular, someone whose content I absolutely love. The guy is one of the funniest people on the internet at all. And second was No Food After Midnight. Now, No Food After Midnight runs the EFT Ammo website. And from there, things start looking a little sus. If the greed in and of itself isn't bad enough, consider this scenario, because this has actually happened multiple times. Multiple times. Let's say that you're an indie game dev. You don't have AAA money, but maybe you have a little bit of venture cash. You're looking to launch your game, and you're trying to do it in the most effective way possible. So you start looking at content creators that you think could best represent the game that you're trying to market. In doing so, you end up doing what any good, reliable company would, and you look at market statistics. You look at the analytics of channels, and then you look at a channel like Fextralife and see that they have hundreds of thousands of unique viewers, if not a million per day, especially at the height of when New World was around, right? When New World really had high viewership, Fextralife was sitting at 70, 80, 90,000 concurrent viewers at any one point during the day. That's a lot of unique viewers. Now, unfortunately, to you as the indie game dev, you don't necessarily know all that much about the embedded viewer issues that I'm outlining, so you decide that you're going to go in pretty hard and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing your game through Fextralife's channel as a game launch, if only to think to yourself, this is going to go great, I'm going to get so much market exposure, and you feel relatively secure that your game is going to launch relatively well. Unfortunately, a very small percentage of those people are actually there watching the content creator, so your game tanks. The marketing push that you thought that you were making on a channel like Fextralife that is heavily based on embedded viewership and doesn't actually have any real reactive viewers watching the content creator make their content, never really sees what it is that they are doing, because the vast majority of people that are quote-unquote watching his stream are actually doing it from the comfort of the wiki, on silent, by the way. They never, ever even see it. And if they did, they would just look at it passively. They'd have no idea either way. In this regard, having blown your entire marketing budget, your game tanks because you spent it in the wrong place, having never known any different. Then left scratching your head wondering why it didn't work out, Fextralife gets to walk away with the bag, not only from Twitch's ad revenue source, but also from you as the indie game dev having blown all that money on someone like Fextralife. And people wonder why guys like me will call embedded streams absolute cancer for all of the industry. Second, AFK streams. Twitch has a program that it rolled out a handful of years ago called Drops. Twitch Drops. You watch a stream, and for X amount of time in watching that stream, you end up getting a free item for the video game category or whatever that you're watching. Sometimes these streams are for select streamers, sometimes it's for everyone. These drop streams are very popular. The first time that a drop stream ever really blew up was for the video game Escape from Tarkov, where the first drop streams that existed, they were giving out pretty solid items for a game that punishes you severely for dying in it. And in that case, you had gamers like Pestily averaging somewhere around 90 to 100,000 viewers when these first drop streams began. In my case, when I end up doing these drop streams myself, I average for Tarkov somewhere around 15,000. In the case of other games, I've averaged 4 and 5 and 6,000 viewers just because I was playing it and drops were enabled. It brings a lot of people to your stream. A lot of those people go AFK. They act more or less as legalized view bots. Now, this is something that is no surprise to most people that are involved in Twitch ethos, Twitch culture. There's been talks about it for a number of years now. However, it's kind of gotten to a head. At one point in time, Twitch had actually changed its rules, and it said that you weren't allowed to just stay AFK on a stream and allow that clock, that meter to run. That's technically something that they had said at one point in time, but it's never been anything that they've really enforced. It got abused pretty badly back when Valorant first came out. When Valorant first came out, there was a drop stream that was involved, and one of the streamers decided that they were just going to play reruns of the VOD that they had generated 12 hours before. They did it overnight. Again, sticking them at the highest point of viewership, just farming a whole bunch of views. In the course of that Valorant stream running for, I think, just about a solid week, they gained something like 900,000 followers. That's insane for a Twitch stream. It automatically makes you crazily popular, but how likely are those people going to come back and watch you? I would argue not very. See, because what happens is you get this massive spike from drops, and you would think that some of those viewers would stick around. But if you look at people like Pestily or Landmark or myself even, at one time, sure, you had 95 or 100,000 viewers, but someone like Pestily, when they go live now, even though they average 4 to 5 to 6,000, that is a pittance compared to something like 100,000, is it not? In my case, it never really ended up doing much for me other than give me a couple of solid days of really strong revenue. See, those drop streams for guys like me will set us up for months, where usually I'm making, say, somewhere around $5,000 or $6,000 in the course of a month. Not bad. But in those 2 days, just those days of ad revenue alone would end up generating me something like $15,000 in a single day. That's crazy. That is something that allows me to sock away money for those slower months so that I can have a little bit of a cushion to build up on. Those are huge. But what if there's a drops campaign that runs for several weeks straight? What if there's a drops campaign that runs for, say, 10 weeks. The game BattleBit, for instance, of which I was am a content creating partner, has the ability or had the ability for a 24/7 drop stream if you wanted to do one for a number of days, unlimited days, really, and you could run that for 10 weeks. You did. At least some people did. Here's how it plays out. Streamer A goes live for quite a while, say 10, 12, 15 hours, and then sets up the VOD in a local, like local saves the recording, turns the recording off at the end of their quote-unquote live time, and then puts the VOD back up on a media player and just reruns it for everyone to watch, just sitting there on their PC while they go off and do other things. A lot of times it's on, a stream computer, even going so far as to mute the output for their game PC. They could be off writing a novel, playing another video game, whatever, but the VOD is still playing for the stream to watch and hear. So this way, the stream stays live, the content creator gets to go and do whatever the hell they want in the meantime, and once they've amassed a large enough library, they can just leave the stream up indefinitely running nothing but VOD content. Now, the people that are trying to get drops don't care. They just sit there and wait for their drops to get collected. They'll sit there AFK for a day or 2 or 10 weeks, even if they figure that they're going to get those free items no matter what. There's a browser extension that you can install now that allows you to just automatically claim them, which is something that Twitch didn't want to have happen because they want people to manually accept them, but those browser extensions still work, so whatever. People will set that up in advance. They put something on their phone, they put something on a tablet, they set the volume to minimum, they put up a browser window, a tab off in the side somewhere, they leave that over in like left field, and they go do whatever the hell else they want. They collect their drops on the side. No one cares. This is a problem for the same reason that embedded video content is a problem. The people at the top of the category for BattleBit, as this case example, being Wadu and a couple of other people, even a channel that's like named Drops Here or whatever, that's only a Drops Here, like a Drops bot that generated like a little bit of content and then just went AFK and left the drop stream up. They just chase Drops pigs. Those channels remained at the top of the category the entire time. And it's bad for the same reason that embedded content is bad. The AFK streamers, the guys that don't sit at their PC and go to bed, stay AFK for a half a day, whatever, that are just trying to retain that viewership so that they can get that bag, that is never going to reflect positively on their numbers after the fact. They're just going to go back to averaging whatever they had been before. Just keep that in mind. It's a temporary payday for them, but systemically, it causes the same problem that embedded videos do. It artificially inflates their viewership so that they remain at the top of the rankings, and it forces viewers into a situation where they're trying to watch the popular streamer, they see no interactivity, and likely that ends up souring a would-be new viewer who then says, well, what's the point of watching this on Twitch? I could just throw this up on my television. I'm not going to interact with this streamer or potentially any streamer, and then they leave the platform never to return. Consider the alternative where they could be interacting with that content creator. There's a number of people, I would argue, just based on the law of averages alone, all of those potential people that would have stopped in to say hi, that could have interacted with that streamer and now are not, that person could have ended up being a year-long, multi-year-long viewer and subscriber of that content creator, and now they're jaded. They're never going to watch someone on Twitch ever again. It harms the platform as a whole. Not to mention the idea of advertisers and advertising revenue, which are the mainstay, the bolus of the amount of money that you get paid when you're doing these types of drop streams because of all of the AFK people having never seen those ads. They are being farmed for ad revenue, where the advertiser, again, is under the impression that those people are seeing those ads, and they're not. It's not even something that they click through. They just leave it AFK and they walk away. Now, of course, I have no solution for this, but the idea should be here that Twitch end up enforcing the idea of being AFK for too long. It's one thing to say, I'm going to take a nap for a few hours and I'll be back. I can see a gray area here where someone is trying to support their own livelihood or feed their kids or work away on a project or whatever it is, but they want to make sure that the viewers stay satiated. I can see an argument for a couple of hours, a nap, an hour nap, a 2-hour nap, whatever it is, in order to be able to recharge your batteries, get back, and start grinding content again. But in no way, at no level, is any of this healthy. At the end of it all, not only does it harm the streamer and their stream, but it also harms the advertising revenue that stream would be capable of earning if Twitch found it to be an abuse of their policies. It could be another scar on the face of the advertising revenue program and ends up forcing them to, again, potentially pay us less because advertisers end up smarter over time and they will catch on. I'm telling you, they will catch on, and these large contracts that Twitch keeps trying to run down will end up biting Twitch in the ass because of these two majorly exploited issues. Now, again, I cannot slight somebody for wanting to chase the bag. I can't. It makes sense. You see a huge increase, a huge spike in viewership. You make a ton of money in a very short amount of time compared to what you had been doing. I can't knock someone for trying to make that living, to taste just a little bit of the good life. You know what I mean? I understand that method of thinking. But if you're somebody that's going to milk that cow for 2+ straight months, and by the end of it, you don't even bother coming back to the PC to begin with because you're just too busy counting the Benjis, that's a problem. That's a problem not only with the, I guess, attitude of the content creator and their channel, but it's also a problem with Twitch. And Twitch at the helm of this and allowing this to continue is going to be systemic cancer. Mark my words. Now, last night, I ended up actually going to Twitter a little bit with a couple of things that I had been finding, just putting out little teasers to see if this was of any interest to anyone. Now, there has been an awful lot of larger content creators talking about this. Gathalion has been, for example, on a crusade about this for a very long time. People like Break have been talking about this for years. Asmongold just did a video about this not too long ago. Ludwig talked about this in early 2021. This isn't something that is new. Fextralife and people like Fextralife have been permeating Twitch's culture with this cancerous activity for a very long time. But going to Twitter and remarking on how No Food After Midnight was obtaining viewers this way, he ended up responding that he didn't care. When mentioning that this suppressed lower level content creators, people like say that were in the hundreds or 200 or 500 concurrent viewers, and they were pushed down in the ranks as a result of this, he said that he did not care about smaller streamers. So when it comes down to this, the idea that you are suppressing viewers is true. You can't say that it's not. You're taking away a ranking spot, just one more ladder on the rung away from someone else. And the more people do this, the more prominent it becomes, the more souring of the statistics it becomes. The statistics end up skewed even more. Ad revenue ends up suffering. Sponsorships end up suffering. I mean, hell, go to Fextralife's page right now and look that they have an ad. They have a banner on their page for Rockcat, and they have banners on their page constantly for the games that they play, promoting those games to a stream audience that is 95% unaware that they are even watching what is on the screen. I would argue in Fextralife's case, it's probably even more than that. And you're telling me that this does no harm. I don't think you can. I think that you can't claim that it does no harm. I think the only thing that you can claim is that you don't care that it does any harm, because it does. You know it, and you don't care. And that is okay in the sense that you don't care. You are absolutely entitled to your own feelings. But to say screw the little guy when the little guy is working arguably harder, at least in streaming content, to gain their audience than this person who is catapulted to the upper ends of the ranks baffles me. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming and checking this video out. I hope you guys didn't mind my little rant here. I genuinely care, okay? This isn't about me. I'm going to get mine. It doesn't really matter. I'm not worried about what I'm doing. I'm worried about whether or not the platform will survive, because these are the types of things that make other platforms look more attractive. And as much as I love competition, I would love the competition to be able to succeed based on the merits of what the competition is offering to content creators like myself, as opposed to us being forced out of where we are because of mistakes and bad decisions that platforms like Twitch have been making. Thanks so much, everybody. God bless you. We'll see you in the next one, okay? Peace.